The judge on this case released a statement saying, with one of the boys she had phone sex with numerous times, the boy was only 13. In this week's episode of Caught, presented by Catfished, we aren't taking a look at the catfished, but rather the catfisher and all of her stories. A serial catfisher that would target teenage boys from Christchurch, New Zealand, causing heartache, stealing money from parents, and even suicide. Natalia Burgess, a 24-year-old serial scam artist living in Auckland, New Zealand, began creating catfish profiles on Facebook and Bebo to scam vulnerable teenage boys. But before Natalia started catfishing boys online, she would live her life taking advantage of anyone that she could. Going back to 2001, Natalia was on Relay Chat creating fake names, and as a teenager she moved into a home for pregnant teens where she only had to pay minimal living expenses. After ringing up a bill of over $1,400, she was asked to prove that she was actually pregnant. She turned in a doctor's note that was clearly in her own writing, and the home quickly kicked her out. 6 years later, in 2007, she went to court for identity theft, and when the judge asked her to please stop her behavior, she only responded with a laugh. In 2008, Natalia had catfished her first victim. Creating fake social media profiles with pictures of pretty teenage girls made it all too easy for Natalia to gain the attention of teenage boys. And when these boys fell in love with whatever character she had made up, she would exploit them in any way possible. Natalia's characters were complex and compelling, and the fake lives she had created made it even more difficult for these boys to determine if they were fake. For example, she had created characters that had a little daughter and suffered from many various issues. Bringing kids into the picture made boys develop relationships with not just her, but also with the little daughter. James, one of the boys that were scammed, recounts his story saying, "I would talk to her daughter almost every night. She would even call me dad." At times when the little girl would call and say that her mom is doing drugs again, James would try to comfort the daughter throughout the night. One thing that's different on how Natalia catfished her victims was she would spend a lot of time with them talking over the phone, posing as whatever character that she needed to be. Natalia would even agree to meet with them, but right before they did, she would cancel. She would then fabricate a fake death to end that character and avoid detection. She had even gone so far as to create a fake memorial page for that character's death. Natalia said that when she received grief-filled messages, it would make her feel empowered, and that's why she did it. What makes Natalia so dangerous was her lack of empathy, or quite frankly, her nonchalant attitude about the pain she had brought upon her victims. Due to the ages of the boys she catfished, many of their parents were also involved. They would send her money and provide emotional support for their children. There were times where the catfish victim or parent would refuse, and she would immediately terminate the relationship. Several boys have reported that after the relationship, they fell into a deep depression. One of which, Peter Russell, had developed strong feelings for her and sent her a video asking for her hand in marriage. Within 3 months of their breakup, Peter Russell took his own life. Natalia felt no remorse. Natalia's self-centered and malicious acts would soon come to an end when she was arrested in 2011. A group of boys from Christchurch banded together and opened up about her deceptive acts of pretending to be a pretty teenage girl in an attempt to steal money from them. Many of the boys told stories about the pain they went through after they found out she wasn't real.
She conned my mother, my dad, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
She brings in personas, and then once she's had enough of them, she'll kill them off.
In 2013, Natalia was charged with 2 counts of obtaining by deception, and only 1 count of interfering with a computer system. She was only charged with 26 months in prison. In a recent interview, when asked if she looked back and regretted anything, Natalia responded with,
"Looking back on it, I'm thinking, you guys are idiots. Honestly, how could you be suckered in by a pretty photo and a pretty voice on the end of the phone?"
And so concludes the story of Natalia Burgess. Leave a comment in the comment section down below if you want to hear more stories like this. Click the blog link in the description for more details on this story. Follow us on our other social media pages to get teasers on the next episode, and hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be notified when the next episode of Caught, presented by Catfish, goes live.